Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk. I am your host, Asia the Bird. To have a wonderful guest with me today, she is the CEO and founder of BarBella Co. Please welcome Portia Mathis. Hello, Portia.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Hello, Asia. Hello. I'm glad to be here and thank you for having me.
Yes, you're most welcome. So I definitely want to go ahead and ask where you're originally from and tell us about your upbringing.
Yeah. So I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, born and raised. I went to elementary, middle school, and high school in Atlanta, Georgia. I went to a performance arts high school where my major was essentially visual or virtual art, so design. And
Mhm.
then from there, I went to school in South Georgia and majored in international business and marketing. And then from there, that's kind of when I got my start on my nail school. I went to Tampa and went to school in excellence. I'm sorry, sheer
Mhm.
excellence in Tampa, where I obtained my nail license.
Oh, that's really, really amazing. But I definitely want to get into this in regards. What are like your earliest memories about beauty, like growing up?
I would say my earliest memories about beauty, I would really attribute that to my uncle. I used to work for him at like kiosks and also
Mhm.
doing like trade shows. He essentially not necessarily introduced the flat irons, but like the innovations of different type of flat irons. And so that will, I would say maybe around 11 or 12, helping him with things along with my sister, helping
Mhm.
her with the trade shows and things of that sort to kind of excuse me, helping them with the trade shows and getting
Mhm.
them acclimated and learning, the ropes of what goes into the actual beauty industry. So I would say around 11 or 12 was when I could, that's my first recollection of beauty and what it
Mhm.
entails essentially.
Yeah, that's really, really amazing. But I definitely want to get into this in regards to beauty school because you did say you attended nail school. And so
Correct.
I definitely want to really ask, like, what was your experience going to nail school?
Oh, that's a great question. I would be very, very candid because I do realize that there's a lot of like nail students, especially like nail enthusiasts, trying to figure out whether they should go to nail school, whether it's worth it. I just want
Mhm.
to first start off saying that it is worth it. It's just certain things that you can't learn from doing apprenticeship or looking at YouTube videos, such as sanitation, different type of
Mhm.
skin conditions. Although you're not supposed to diagnose as a licensed nail tech, you still
Mhm.
are aware of different skin conditions on whether you want to work on it or not.
Mhm.
My experience in nail school was great. I did the evening course. And
Mhm.
from nail school, like I said, the networking, the camaraderie, the different things that you learn, they don't
Mhm.
necessarily go so in depth into like the nail art and the trends that we see, but that's the reason why
Right.
we have YouTube. We have TikTok. We have
Mhm.
like nail influencers. We have many people that we can leverage as resources to learn from outside of nail school. But I definitely say it is definitely a great choice to do nail schools because, like I said, it's things that you don't learn outside of nail school that you do learn in nail school.
Mhm. Yeah, and the thing is that I took cosmetology courses in my high school because they offered, the cosmetology program in
Nice.
my, high school, and so I've been licensed since I was 2015, since 2015, excuse me. And so the thing is with that, even before I jumped into cosmetology, classes in my high school, and even after, you have to learn a lot of stuff on your own. So, state board is not going to teach you all the ropes of the nail industry. And I think that's what could be improved a bit more because I think that gives us more preparation for the nail industry.
Correct. And it is that huge misconception that, oh, I go to nail school, I'm going to know everything there is to know about nails. No, that is not is necessarily the case. You do learn the basics, and they give you the tools and equipment that you need to build up on. So, like I
Mhm.
said, the networking that you get in nail school or cosmetology school, depending on the school that you go to, I would say is priceless because those
Right.
are people that are in your industry. They're subject matter experts. They've been in the industry for long periods of time, and that could possibly
Right.
connect you to people that can teach you more information about the trends, the skills that
Mhm.
you want to learn as a cosmetologist or a nail technician.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is that now there's so many nail courses you could think of to do, like marketing or like, basic nail prep, just the list goes on and on with nail education, how much it's evolved.
Definitely. And that's good that it is evolving. Like now I think we're going into this phase of the consumers having a voice of basically saying what they want. And that's a
Mhm.
great place to be because
Right.
consumers essentially vote with our dollars on what we want to see, what we like, what we don't like. So the fact that we're
Mhm.
making this change means that bigger brands and bigger businesses are starting to pay attention.
Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly. But I definitely want to get into your brand, BarBella Co. So, how did that brand get started? Like, how'd you get started with, selling your own acrylics and gel polishes?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I've always been a enthusiast since I was a child. I remember like we having the J.C. Penney catalog, and my mom letting me pick whatever out of catalog, and I picked like this huge nail kit, and I was just amazed since then. And then we kind of got to, like I said, high school, and my mom was like, I don't want you to be a starving artist, because I went to a performance art school. So I started BarBella Co actually when I finished college, worked in corporate a little while, and I decided that I wasn't being fulfilled from my creative side. So that's when I
Hmm.
did nail school. And essentially, one of my colleagues was diagnosed with contact dermatitis. So if you
Hmm.
don't know what that is, it's basically a skin condition caused by overexposure of you using like products with harsh chemicals or toxic chemicals.
Hmm.
So this devastated me because it's like we were building this camaraderie. We were going through the courses together. She was
Right.
passionate, I was passionate, and then she could no
Hmm.
longer essentially pursue her passion. So
Hmm.
that's when I kind of started looking, researching, and see like what is causing these adverse reactions in nail care. Like nail care, it goes hand in hand with self care, and it's kind of
Right.
counterproductive if you're
Hmm.
using nail care and it's causing adverse reactions. So when I
Right.
went down that rabbit
Hmm.
hole, I realized it was the ingredients. And it's like, this is
Mm.
interesting that the ingredients are causing adverse reaction. It can cause like dip pneumonia, just all of these different skin conditioning ailments that you wouldn't think that you get from partaking in nail care. So once that happened, I started working with a cosmetic chemist because I realized there wasn't a true, I guess, vegan or clean nail product. At that point, it
Mhm.
hadn't caught on. And so working with the cosmetic chemist, going back and forth, essentially that's when we created BarBella Co, and the rest is history.
Wow, that's really, really amazing. But I definitely want to get into like, what makes BarBella stand out from all the other like, nail polish brands.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a lot of nail polish brands. A lot of now, like I said, a lot of more companies are catching on to vegan and clean. So what makes Marbellico different is essentially our approach. We are clean. We are Leaping Bunny certified. So we're not saying that we're just clean because it's that. We're saying that we're vegan because it's attractive. We have the certification to outside of that, on this mission to redefine the status quo in the nail industry. And a part of that is making clean and vegan nail care the standard. And we essentially do that by creating more conscious consumers, educating consumers on the ingredients to be on the
Mhm.
lookout for, or if they're, say, for instance, brands that's claiming they're vegan and clean, looking and see if they have the proper certifications, looking at the ingredients and
Mm.
seeing are those ingredients truly vegan and clean. And that essentially is what's going to set the tone for consumers and what consumers want and how do we get what we want.
Yes, exactly. Now, what was the certification? Because it kind of froze a little bit.
Yeah, the certification is Leaping Bunny certification. So basically, that certification just said that there's no animal derived ingredients and
Mhm.
there is no products from start to finish. It's not tested
Mhm.
on animals. And there are other certifications that you can get in conjunction with Leaping Bunnies, like Clean. They have vegan.org, they have PETA, they have a lot of different certification that assure you that not only are your products not tested on animals, they don't
Mhm.
contain animals ingredients, and then also they are clean and they don't contain the toxic chemicals that can lead to adverse effects.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely want to get into in regards to the marketing. If you had any words of advice for someone who wants to start their own nail polish brand, like talk about like the process, but also too like what goes into marketing a nail polish brand.
Yeah, yeah. So as you can imagine, beauty cosmetics, it is extremely competitive. So
Mhm.
the first thing you want to kind of pinpoint is your why. Who are you talking to? Why are you talking to that person? Why do you want that group of people or that particular person to resonate with you? And it's as
Mhm.
soon as you have your mission and your purpose, it's easier to target that person from start to finish. Whether it
Mhm.
is at trade shows, whether it's online, social media, if you don't have like clear direction and brand identity for yourself, it's kind of hard to convey that message to others that they should follow you or they should buy from you. And this
Mhm.
is applicable to the service industry if you're a nail tech, or also applicable to the product industry if you are like a nail polish owner or if you do acrylic powders or anything in the beauty industry.
Mhm. Yeah, right, exactly. But I definitely want to get into some of your gel polish collection. So tell some of the gel polish collection that you offer and things like that.
Yep. So in our collection, we have 33 exciting colors. They're invigorating colors. They match any hue. So you can be a lighter tone, you can be a darker tone. It doesn't matter the gender,
Mhm.
the religion. That's one thing I like about nails is inclusive. It's one size fits all.
Right.
So the collections that we have, like I said, we have 33 colors. And
Mhm.
then we have currently now it is March. We have our pastel collection. So it's your lavenders, it's your yellows, basically your Easter spring colors. And then we have our summer collection. The tropical is in paradise. It kind of makes you feel like you're on a beach. And we have different array from
Ooh.
that. So we have your aquas, we have your hot pinks, we have your neon oranges, we have your bright vivid yellows. And so those are two of the collections that are currently out now. And then we have our existing
Mhm.
collections that were from like summer, not summer, February, so Valentine's Day collection, and then the previous collection was the Christmas collection.
I find it very interesting because, like, I love how with certain nail polish brands, like, they come with these unique names,
Mhm.
and I wanna kinda ask, like, have you ever came up with, like, different names? Like, how's, like, the process, like, in terms of coming up with different nail polish names? Because it's not.
So
Mhm.
go ahead. Sorry
Yeah,
about that.
yeah, so it's like, people don't just say red or blue, like, what's the process behind, like, coming up with different names for polishes too?
Yep, yep. So a part of me being like a nail enthusiast and a nail tech, I'm an avid traveler. So I essentially let the my travel experience or let my day to day dictate the colors in the collection. So
Mhm.
for example, some of our colors are like our summer. I will give you an example. Summer is like beach please. And like in the summertime, you go to the beach, but if you can imagine that color, like what color would that be? If you heard it and didn't see the color, what association would you make with beach, please?
Wow, I would say, like, probably like a blue or something like that.
Exactly, exactly. So that essentially dictates, like I said, the color selection. We have beach please, and then also like what's trending. What is like something that is going to get people talking. We have Frenchy, we have sassy, classy. So all things that you will possibly like resonate with. Like, oh, I feel like I want to be on my money thing today. We have a money green or get money, whole lot of money essentially.
Mhm.
Then we also have like a deep blue that is called Not Too Deep. So, like I said, it just kind of is, um, I would say, inspired by me traveling and then
Mhm.
also like what's going on a day to day basis. Like, how do I feel? Do I
Mhm.
want to feel empowered? And that essentially will lead the tone in naming the nail colors.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. But I definitely want to get into just in regards to also with acrylic, because you also sell acrylics as well.
Yeah.
And I definitely want to get into in regards to like MMA, especially, raising awareness for beginner nail techs and nail artists is, the whole thing of being careful of using MMA because that's not a good, substitute of acrylic to use because that can cause infections and things like that. So can you tell us more about the dangers of MMA and like what are some things that nail techs and nail artists should look out for when finding acrylics?
Yeah, yeah. So acrylics, so there's, and this is going to get into like the science, like the nail tech terms. So it's polymer and monomers. So essentially, the MMA is the monomer, which is essential to the liquid. The powder, sometimes they can have MMA in it, but 9 times out of 10, it's always the liquid. So you want
Mhm.
to always use an EMA, never use products with MMA in it. Some people use them because they last longer, they cure faster, but it's essentially the same as like dental acrylics. And who wants dental acrylics on their nails? Like it's not supposed to move when they use it with dental acrylics on your nails. You might get them done
Mhm.
every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks. So it's very dangerous to be using MMA. And I would advise anyone to not use MMA and to always gravitate towards EMA. Some things that I would say about MMA, it can cause adverse reactions. So it's not supposed to be on your skin. So that is potentially what caused my friend when I was in nail school to have an adverse reaction. Nail school, sometimes they may use MMA.
Mhm.
One thing to identify if they're using MMA is to ask the brand. From
Right.
the brand, you can look at the ingredients. A lot of times in nail school, they use like brands that they don't label. So they might be in a
Right.
bottle that is not labeled. So you can ask the director. And if
Mhm.
you, and another way to identify if it's MMA is to look at the consistency. It's very
Right. Mhm.
sticky and tacky and it has an awful odor. If you're encountered in those situations, nine
Mhm.
times out of 10 is MMA, and it's best to side on a side of error and not necessarily use that product at all.
Yeah, right, exactly. And this leads to my other question as well, because, what's your take on people buying, like alternative, brands or like counterfeit brands from like, Amazon and Alibaba or AliExpress, rather than buying the higher quality. Cause when we look at, other brands, like they may say like $20 for a set of 6 or 10 polishes, but it's like you don't know what's in those polishes. So why do you think, beginner nail techs and artists turn to the cheaper alternative instead of, getting like the higher end brands such as your brand or a Prey and other brands?
Yep, yeah. So I would say stay away from like I would say cheap brands, or because there are some brands that are inexpensive but they also have good quality. But I would say stay away from that, just because in the end it can affect you, and not necessarily affect you but affect like your client, and then that also affects your reputation. I know you want to build your reputation, but a part of that building that reputation is using quality products. And if
Mhm,
you use like your cheap products on Amazon, Alibaba on your clients, that word of mouth goes back to
mhm,
marketing, which is a form of marketing. It can ruin your reputation before you even get started, and that's not what we want. So I would say stay away from those particular cheap brands, because, like I said, they cause adverse reactions. Um,
mhm,
Ultimately, you end up kind of recorrecting what you've done when it comes down from a service perspective, because it causes like product breakdown because they're not good
mhm.
products, they're cheap products. And then also it causes harm to you, but also causes harms to others.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. I could totally agree with that. Now, with you being the nail owner of a nail polish company, BarBella, but I definitely want to get your perspective in regards to the evolution of the nail industry concerning products, especially from a manufacturer perspective.
Yeah, yeah. So, like I said, I touched on it previous in the beginning. The industry is changing. It feels like, because I am a consumer, I'm an enthusiast, but I am also a nail tech, and I started by being an avid lover of nail products. And like I said, when I started, granted, it was when I was younger, around 12. No one looked at the ingredients. No one cared about, what was in the nail care products. So it is changing in a sense that we have more conscious consumers. And conscious
Right.
consumers are people that care about what they put in their bodies, but also on their bodies. So I feel
Mhm,
like the consumers are setting the tone, say, okay,
mhm.
not only are we going to care about the brand, we're also
Right.
going to care about the products, what's in the product, how does it make me feel, and what are the lasting effects of the products that I use from your brand. So it is
Mhm.
changing in a sense of, essentially, like I said, we're on the road to redefining the status quo.
Right.
Where clean and vegan nail care, you may see it in other industries. Clean and vegan beauty has starting to become not necessarily the trend, but the tone in what consumers want.
Yeah, right, exactly. But also too, like, to bounce off of that, there's so many trends that are out now. And the artistry
Uh,
has, been another level the past five or so years, like, the chrome powders, then you got the 3D gel, you got, all types of like cool nail art that's out right now. The French tips are, these some of these trends are coming back. They were dying at first and they come back. I remember 5, 10 years ago or so or longer where crackle was the popular, and then ombre and things, and now all that's coming back, then duck nails. So, everything is like getting to this nostalgia, but also revamping, a lot of the nail trends.
Exactly, exactly. And it's funny that you mentioned crack, because I looked back at that trend and I'm like, I cannot believe this was a trend. It was so hideous. But like you said, it is coming back. And a lot of those trends are coming back. And that's what I like about where we're at now in the nail space industry.
Mhm.
You start to see nails being combined in other industries. So fashion. So for example, Shakari in track, she has the
Right.
long nails. And I know we've seen it before her time, but like you said,
Mhm.
it's just resurfacing, and it's like kind of bringing it to a forefront of nail care is a part of self-care. It's also a part of fashion. It's also a
Right.
part of creativity, expressing ourselves, our personal brands. So it's
Mhm.
also in conjunction with like accessories, clothing, hair,
Right.
makeup. So it's good to be able to finally get that recognition essentially in
Mhm.
the nail space, that we
Mhm.
are here
Agreed.
to stay, we are here to make our statement, and we're not
Mhm.
going anywhere. The trends are going to keep coming.
Yeah, I'm glad that nails is getting recognized, in fashion because, like if you look at the blondes and some of the other fashion shows, they're incorporating nails, but are
Yep.
taking it to a different level, especially with the
Hmm.
blondes. You know
Yes.
what I mean? I love their fashion, like the gold and the opulence, and I
Mhm.
like how they do it with the nails, and they work with C&D doing the cool, nail designs, and it's
Right.
it's really really cool to see that nail artists are getting recognition, but also celebrities are wearing nails on the red carpet, Meg The Stallion,
Exactly.
Sweetie, many other celebrities are getting more into nail art and things like that. So that's really cool to see as well.
Yeah, and it's essentially the hardest canvas that you can have. I can just
Right,
imagine, your face is different with makeup and your clothes is your entire body, but
right.
essentially you become, I would say, a Picasso in a manner of that you're taking a small canvas and making a work of art and making it a statement piece.
Mhm.
Depending on who you are, you look at the nails first. You can tell a lot
Right.
about a person from the nails, whether it's manicure, whether it's designs, whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
It says a lot. So I am glad, like you said, that nails is finally making a statement in fashion and becoming more of the forefront. I believe there was a case last year. Nicki Minaj, she performed, and
Mhm.
like I saw that like one of her press songs was like on auction. Granted, it is Nicki Minaj, but the design was nice. Yeah, I can't recall the price that it auctioned for, but just interesting enough. Like, oh, I want a piece of art essentially from Nicki Minaj.
Mhm. Yeah, that's really, really cool to see. But I definitely want to get into this one question because, like how do you balance, everyday life with owning your own nail polish brand?
It's actually beauty in the journey. You try to separate the two, and you can, but like I said, I'm a nail enthusiast, so it's
Mhm.
entwined with my personal life. Like outside of BarBella Co, I'm always like looking and researching different trends, trying different things for myself. So the
Mhm.
balance is, like I said, it's just in the journey itself, enjoying the process, enjoying the journey. I do have two sons, so I
Mhm.
don't necessarily incorporate them in the nail arts sort of speak, but when it comes
Mhm.
down to like going with me on trade shows, looking at the manufacturing behind like what goes on behind the day to day, I incorporate them on that. So it's like I'm still doing what
Mhm.
I love, but I'm also having that family time, personal time, and that's
Mhm.
how essentially I balance.
Absolutely. But I definitely want to also get into the importance of understanding worth and value because what I like about the nail industry as well is we're getting more in tune with understanding our worth and our value and pricing what we're worth. So coming from a person who is, you're a businesswoman, you own BarBella Co, the nail company. So coming from a business owner perspective, how important is it for nail artists and nail techs and nail polish brand owners to understand their worth and their value in the nail industry, especially with pricing?
And this may not necessarily be applicable only to the nail industry. It's just
Mhm.
applicable in day to day life. Your
Right.
confidence comes from within. If you are not confident in yourself, how are you going to set your standards? So if you say, for instance, when it comes, this is applicable only to pricing. When you're pricing your nail services, and you say, "Hey, I think it's $50," and you're going to blogs and you're going to forums and you're trying to compare your work to the next person's work to try to figure out, did I charge my worth? That charging your worth comes from within. The questions that you ask: am I using quality products? Am I doing good at the nail art? Am I delivering what the customer wants? And that is going to help dictate one, your price point, and then two, your confidence. The
Mhm.
more clientele customers you get, the more recognition you get, it helps with that confidence. It's not something that is built overnight, but I can say that initial confidence starts from within. So that's the
Mhm.
starting place. And being a confident nail tech, even if it's, say, for instance, your nail art isn't the best, practice make perfect. I've seen people who are talented artists, and when it
Right.
comes to nails, they're not really good because they can't paint on a nail canvas. And I've seen people who are horrible at nail art, and if you see like their 5 year progress, you're like, oh, that's amazing, you must was born an artist, when that's not the case. So just also being confident and being aware and accountable
Mhm.
for how can I get better, what are things I need to improve on, being open to constructive feedback. We're all in
Mhm.
this, well, Majority of us as in this community to see each other win. We want to help, the beginner nail tech,
Mhm.
um, also the nail enthusiasts, whether they want to
Right.
convert into becoming a licensed nail tech. It's all about camaraderie and networking,
Mhm.
and that also helps build your confidence.
Yes, absolutely. I could totally agree with that. Now, where do you see BarBella Co. in 10 years?
I see BarBella Co being a household name when it comes to vegan nail care. We do have some things in the currently in the lineup, like we're currently expanding.
Mhm.
We have our manicure pedicure line, so we won't only be doing nail polish and powders, acrylic powders. We'll also be doing a manicure pedicure line along
Ooh.
with a CBD infused oil.
Mhm.
So, like I said, just making BarBella Co a household name. And whenever you think about nail education, whenever you think about clean and vegan nail care, essentially you think about BarBella Co. We also, just like First Dibs, are in the process of doing a nail salon. And a part of this
Ooh.
nail salon is a sociable and innovative experience. So not only
Mhm.
do we want to have quality vegan clean nail care, we also want to create an environment where you do feel comfortable with like
Right.
common asking questions if you are a beginner, asking questions about maybe conditions. Like I said, there's different things, the nuances to get into when you start diagnosing conditions, but
Mhm.
also knowing that if that's something that people are interested in, it is a medical field for that. So essentially, you are
Right.
still a licensed nail tech. You just get the additional certification to now medically work with patients. Diabetes is one big thing. They teach you in nail care, don't do their toes. Having this additional medical certification allows you to perform pedicure services on diabetes patients. Now you're not a normal, I would say, nail tech. You can do enhanced services without that
Mhm.
additional medical service.
Yes, absolutely. Last but not least, where can people find you on social media, and how can people support BarBella Co. and how can people get involved?
Yeah. So people can find us on social media. We're on I'm at BarBella_Co. And as far as in Facebook, it's just BarBella Co. Tik is the same as Instagram, BarBella_Co. And then you can also like feel free to subscribe to our newsletters and our email notifications. We constantly are pouring out nail education, nail art tutorials. Like I said, whether you're a beginner or whether you are a professional, like I said, BarBella Co is inclusive and it fits all.
All right, cool, cool. Well, thank you so much, Portia, for jumping onto the show. I love what you're doing. I love how you're about, having a clean environment, but also, selling clean products and things like that. So, this is a really fun discussion. Just keep doing what you're doing. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Asia. I learned so much about you. And like I said, thank you for having me again. I enjoy talking with people about BarBella Co and where we see BarBella Co and the rationale for essentially our existence is to help the nail community.
Yes, absolutely. Take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Be sure to check out my website, ASIATHABIRD.com, and be on the lookout for more interviews to come very soon. Take care, stay healthy, and stay beautiful. Bye bye.